You cannot go a single day without at least one character that you loved when you were a child and grew up watching on television getting rewritten and given the blackwash treatment. The latest characters to get this blackwash treatment are Professor X and Magneto. Marvel Studios is considering making Professor X and Magneto people of colour in X-Men Reboot, just what all of the X-Men fans wanted. The X-Men could have a unique twist to them. It's not really that unique these days though, is it? To them, when Marvel Studios rolls out their inevitable reboot, Kevin Feige is considering having people of colour portray both Magneto, my personal favourite X-Man, and Professor X in the MCU. While this change wouldn't alter much for Charles Xavier as he was born in New York City to a wealthy family, that man and his white privilege, he needs to be rid of it. It may lead to Marvel Studios taking some liberties with Eric Lensher's origin. In the pages of Marvel Comics, Magneto was born in the 1920s to a Jewish family. During World War II, he was sent to Auschwitz. With the current MCU taking place in 2023, it's difficult to imagine a near 100-year-old Magneto taking on the X-Men. My god, ageist much? We need representation of 100-year-olds as well in the MCU, you know, you bloody Nazis. Marvel Studios will have to take some steps to differentiate its incarnation of the X-Men from what Fox has done over the better part of the last 2 decades. Making 2 of the potential leads of the franchise people of colour could be a huge step in doing that, as well as helping to push the diversity of the MCU forward. Just what everyone wants when they watch superhero films. What they're really wanting is superheroes that look just like them. This identity politics really does sicken me. Earlier this year, Feige spoke about representation in the MCU and how he believes it's the future of the franchise. He said, "So the notion of representation on screen, in front of and behind the camera, somebody once asked me, so is Black Panther a one-off? I said no, it's not a one-off," he said. This is the future, this is the way the world is, and the way certainly our studio's going to be run going forward, because that's what everyone wants. Because it brings about better stories. The more diverse the group of people making the movie, the better the stories. Are you really sure about that, my dude? When the X-Men were to make their live-action debut for the 2000 film, Fox enlisted veteran actors Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen to take on the roles of Professor X and Magneto. They would portray the characters until the studio decided to do a soft reboot of the franchise with X-Men First Class, and James McAvoy and Michael Fassbender took over the roles, although McKellen and Stewart would appear again in Days of Future Past alongside their younger counterparts. Films that we would much rather be watching, and we will watch again and again, rather than watch any future X-Men films that you intend to put out if you choose to go forward with this decision. These people are not concerned about telling better stories, they're not concerned about trying to give the fans what they want, they're more concerned about pushing identity politics and filling diversity quotas. And what they seem to be doing here, if this turns out to be true and they actually do it, makes my point quite clear. You gotta ask yourself, do you think they would ever do this to a character like Storm? Do you think they would ever change the race of that character? Of course they wouldn't, because of the fact that they know it would just trigger everyone. That would cause so much outrage, and yet have the mainstream media going on about the rise of white supremacy for the billionth time. I think it is safe to say that if they actually go forward with this decision, I certainly won't be going to see another X-Men film anytime soon. But overall, people, be sure to let us know what you think about this down below. How excited are you on the idea of Professor X and Magneto potentially getting blackwashed? Be sure to let us know what you think about this down below, alright? Alright, gentlemen, this has been Lord Flashheart. Be sure to rate, comment, favourite, share and subscribe, and I will see you again. Cheerio!